guess when I was a kid, I didn't watch a whole lot of TV. I was an outdoor kid, but I enjoyed actually watching football on TV because of it seems kind of like a gladiator sport, and just the people like really athletic moves and diving and catching the football, and that had a lot of appeal to me. I'm Marcus Garland, and I'm the founder of Unicycle Football, as far as I know. Yeah, I started juggling when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, and I was at a jazz festival, and there was this juggler there, and I went up and harassed him. I was like, "How do you do it?" And he just kind of gave me the basics, the 1, 2, 3 to how to juggle. And I went home, and by the end of that day, I was juggling. I think the local grocery store almost had a ban on me because the produce section, I would just go wild in. But yeah, I got way into juggling, so much so that my family, like every Christmas, my toys were juggling toys, were tricks. Devil sticks, juggling clubs, unicycle, stuff like that. But the unicycle, that was one of the gifts for Christmas, and I got really good at it. And I got pretty good riding around and realizing that I could get pretty agile on the unicycle, and almost like I was on my own 2 feet. And thought, wouldn't it be fun to play football on a unicycle, actually have a function, a reason to be on the unicycle. My first move, I called Ozone Bikes in Austin, Texas, and said, hey, if I start a unicycle football league in San Marcos, will y'all give us unicycles at wholesale? And they said, yeah. We started getting unicycles for like 50 to 70 bucks, depending on what model. And the first order, after everybody put in there, we had 15 unicycles ordered. And so that 15 unicycles is now turned into over 80 unicycles sold in the area for no profit. But that should give you an idea how many are in the area. We now have 4 teams, and we have a lot of rules, and we have, I guess, regular fans. We've turned this into a spectator sport. That was from the goal. That was part of the goal, is to make this a spectator sport, not just a sport for a bunch of unicycle people to go out and have fun. It wasn't designed like that. It was supposed to just be a fun thing, almost like roller derby, you know, like for a crowd of people, and the ridiculousness of it, and a community event, if you will. And that's how we sold the idea from the beginning, and that's how we've stuck with it. It's been a success so far. So the most challenging thing about the sport is it has a really high element of danger. We're playing on pavement. And we've been playing relatively low padding, you know. Most of us don't have elbow pads, some of us do. I do now because I have deformed elbows. And we finally have a requirement on helmets because it's just we've had too many people hit their heads, or it's critical, you know. So now it's like mandatory, helmets required. But that's not the only danger, there's so much. We didn't know, as we're the first in the sport. You know, we don't have anybody that's done it before us to say, okay, this is why you should do this. You know, we have to figure that out. And one of the things, it might seem obvious, but falling back onto the unicycle, if you were to land on a pedal or something, which happens anyways, but people are often jumping vertical off the unicycle to make a grab or something like that. And you don't know how you're going to come down, you know, whether the unicycle is going to be standing up under you, or you're going to land on the seat, or... There's tons of clubs, but as far as I know, we're the only unicycle sports league. Meaning that there's teams that play this one sport with records and tournaments, and all they care about is that sport. There's tons of unicycle clubs that will play basketball or polo or stuff like that on their unicycles. And that's great. There's no better or worse, but we're unique in that we are only playing football on unicycles for that reason. I want the city to realize that this is a community event, that I think that if the city would jump on board, this thing could flourish as a San Marcos event, and it'd be an attraction to San Marcos. We have players that have proclaimed that they don't want to leave San Marcos after college because they want to play unicycle football. And I think that's really cool, because they're saying that this is the only reason why they're not leaving San Marcos. And that's one thing the city's been trying to do, is keep students here. And I think if unicycle football is an attraction for players as well as fans to stay here, that's pretty cool, you know.